So let's talk about how to configure RIP version 2 authentication. The first thing that we need to do in global config mode on our routers is define a keychain that has a name. This is how we're going to identify it and attach it to the interface where we want to perform that authentication. So the command is keychain, and then where you see ABC here, you can just replace that with whatever name you're going to be able to identify the keychain with. Now, another thing I should point out here is that I did ABC in uppercase characters. This is just a personal preference. You don't have to, but I like to do names in my iOS configuration in uppercase so they stand out. And then I know, oh, that's a name, and I can probably have that reference somewhere else in the config. So the keychain is configured here. Then we're going to define the key on the keychain, right? So kind of real life, something that we can compare it against. We have a keychain, and on that keychain we have keys. So we define the key or keys. We can have more than one key. So here's key X, it's the key number, and then we define what the key is. Key string, key dash string, and then XYZ, whatever that key string is. Could be Cisco 123, probably shouldn't be, but could be whatever we want it to be. Once we've got the keychain with a key ID and a key hooked to that chain, now we need to apply it. So we're going to enable authentication on an interface, and the way that we do that is with RIP authentication and then the keychain. Okay, really simple to do there. Now, as I mentioned, we don't necessarily want to do plain text authentication because it's not the best way to do things. So we are going to want to enable MD5 authentication. And the way that we do that is with the RIP authentication mode command. And we're going to make sure that we specify in here that the mode is MD5. So this will do that 128-bit hash. That's what Message Digest 5 does on that key that we've got on our keychain. It'll send the hash, and on the other side, they'll have to recreate the hash and compare the two. Now, additionally, we can do some keychain management. This is optional, but I just wanted to reference this here. What we're talking about as far as keychain management goes is with the keychain, we can set a certain time when we accept the key and a certain time when we stop sending the key, when it basically times out or basically is no longer valid. So if you wanted to, you could roll the keys over. You could create multiple keys, and you could say that, okay, key ID 1 is valid from today until, the end of the year. And at the end of the year, key ID 2 is valid. And then you create a little bit of overlap so that if clocks are off a little bit, you don't all of a sudden stop receiving your updates.